Hello everyone and welcome to Best Side Cycling. This is a video series about me riding my Brompton from Seattle to Vancouver across 2 days, 200 miles, and this is part 3 where we have just finished halfway point of the first day and we are going to make it all the way to Burlington today. So another 30 miles. Today is going to be a very hilly, scenic, but also a lot of sort of big freeways. So let's see how we do and let's get on with the ride. Just finished another rest stop here. This route's really great because going along the Centennial Trail, there's just naturally a lot of amenities along the way already. So it makes it a lot easier to do this self-supported. But from here, we're basically just over halfway. And yeah, let's get a move on because it's about 1 p.m. Sun's definitely out. Put on some sunscreen. So let's get rolling. Check out that art. Bridge that crosses over this river. Frankly, it's a lot drier than I remember it to be. Very sad, but otherwise this is beautiful and it's shaping up to be a really nice day too. Full blue skies behind me and we're just making our way to Bellingham. So here are some of the last views that we're gonna get on the Centennial Trail. Really nice, open, wide, and the weather, as you can tell, is basically perfect today. Clear blue skies with the sun wide out. So after a while here, we're gonna make it to the State Route 9 where we turn off and we sort of transition our ride from a flat trail to some highways and some hills. So let's see how we do. But yeah, this is definitely going to be another main transition and a worry point for me for the ride. Yeah, here on State Route 9 now, this is probably the most nerve-wracking part of the whole route. Speed limit posted at 55 and it's just a one lane, not much shoulder, but it's okay because it's low traffic. But definitely as a solo rider, this is where I'm paying the most attention. I'm really thankful for my radar. So I'm gonna focus here, make it through. That was definitely a bit of a tough transition going from trail to this, but overall it wasn't too bad. There was probably another section of this whole route that was worse and I'll point that out later, but after a while we are basically going to turn off and sort of do a few sort of side loops to avoid riding on State Route 9 the whole time. And here on Finn Settlement Road is basically one of the first major climbs you're gonna do. Right into the climbs. Definitely feeling this front bag. I think I got like 25 pounds of luggage at least. Putting this bike totally like 40-45 pounds. At least there's corn. So this climb is very memorable for me and this whole distinctive sort of bend. In 2019 when I did this, as soon as we turned onto here, it started pouring rain for some reason that day. And I remember just being miserable and just trying to climb my way through it. So yeah, this will be forever sort of etched in my memory. But here is what it looks a little bit on the elevation graph. We are going to that main climbing slog, but right after that, there's like a bunch of rollers that you have to work through. But yeah, traffic wise here, it's definitely a lot better. Pretty much nothing to worry about. But I definitely feel like that my wings of climbing are clipped with this whole setup. And yeah, I mean, the Brompton is a really great and capable bike, but probably one of the downsides of it being sort of a one size fits all is that it's not super highly tuned for any individual. One example might be the crank size. It uses 170 millimeters, which is standard on sort of the small bikes now, but I actually end up switching to 160 ones so make it comfortable for me and tuned to myself. So stuff like that. And then also, admittedly, for my training this whole summer, I think my longest ride with the Brompton was just around about like 4-5 hours, and today ends up being a lot longer than that. So yeah, let's just keep going and see how we're doing. Alright, climbing around Pilchuck. This is definitely going to be the grind of the ride because we're not quite too near the finish, but still feeling pretty hot, pretty tough. But check out these views. Nice views all around, still tons of green. So I'm just gonna keep on rolling until we make it out to Mount Vernon. So for the whole journey to Vancouver using the RSVP route, there's a few notable places where it feels definitely steeper than the rest, and near the top of this hill is one of them. So definitely working off some of my reserves here. Alright, we've officially made it to Skagit County. Look at the sign. Nice. That's a good milestone. But yeah, this whole section is just really rolly, so definitely make sure to use all your momentum when you can. Alright, another super random photo stop, but here I distinctly remember on this road there was this yellow gate back in 2019 that I wanted to take a picture with. So I'm making do on my 4-year-old sort of wishes. So yeah, if you do come by here, I really do like this spot. You get a bit of an opening of all those mountains back there. So let's just keep on going. So what I was talking about here was really saying how partial I am to the RSVP route over STP. Moreover than the fact that I'm Canadian and sort of biased about the destination, I just love the variety in views that you get on this route. So we went on a trail, sort of a farmland, and then now all of a sudden it just turns into sort of all these mountainscapes and forests. So it's really, really neat. And the second day, of course, really turns super different once you enter a whole new country and just a lot of different environments that you go through versus Seattle, Portland, where I feel like a lot of it is pretty similar. Alright, we're soon probably gonna leave this peaceful road and go back on the State Route 9. But so far, yeah, this is a great reminder of why I love this road so much. Yeah, just surrounded by green, really calm, rolly hills. All things that I like normally if my bike wasn't so heavy. But still, it's a beautiful day. So what goes up must come down. So we're done that big climb, and now we just sort of have to meander through some of these big roads to get towards Mount Vernon. But yeah, I think at this point we're about reaching the threshold of my longest solo ride ever. I mean, I ride every day, but typically my rides, even in the summer, don't span that long all by myself. I mean, I've done lots of centuries and long rides now with people, but if it like just by myself, definitely this will count as one of the longest. And one of the things that helped me a lot just to focus is probably my sort of open ear headphones. I was listening to some background music throughout the whole time. I wouldn't do that on a group ride ever, just to make sure I have full awareness of maybe people behind me. But by myself and where I can definitely hear cars and see them on my radar, it just sort of gave me sort of company and just something to just sort of zone in as I was just going along for so long. It was definitely a really different feel, but at the same time, it was pretty fulfilling just to, you know, feel like I'm adventuring and having that really sense of freedom and exploring as we're heading out here. They left on the road. I think it's like some short. Looks clean. Let's take a look. Like it's some perfectly fine Nike sort of clothing underneath. It's so definitely way too big for me, but interesting find. Probably someone left from RSVP. I don't know if I'll be able to get it back to the rightful owner, but yep, the things that people sometimes just drop on the ground. And now we're passing by the community of Big Lake, and it is a big lake indeed, as yeah, it's really neat just riding through all these different sort of rural and suburban communities. Definitely a much different view, but yeah, you can definitely get a lot of good peeks of the water through all the different homes and stuff. But then after a while, we of course have to return to the dreaded State Route 9. At least there's a great view in the back, but this will be sort of the final stretch before making it into that whole Burlington sort of area. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a rude awakening here. I think out of all the sections of State Route 9, this one was particularly the worst just due to the higher traffic levels, I think presumably because we're basically there to Mount Vernon. So yeah, I know I put out a lot of the same sort of sayings and warnings, but I definitely made this as in-depth as I could, just so that I could sort of mark out places like this for you all, so that when you do this or join the RSVP ride, you'll be sort of fully mentally prepared. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, would you be willing to ride on these type of roads, or how would you feel about it? I think at this point, I was overall pretty comfortable. I was just nervous about the fact that I was completely alone by myself. It just makes things difficult if something were to happen, but luckily, really luckily, I actually had 0 mechanicals the whole trip. So yeah, but yeah, you do have to navigate one big roundabout like this, so just look out for cars and just be willing to take the lane. Right, so we're past a lot of the state road part and entering into Mount Vernon to the next rest stop. At this point, I'm probably gonna go look for some type of place to get some more water, take a slightly bigger break because I know between Burlington and Bellingham there really isn't much, so might as well just get rested up and then finish strong, see how windy the flats get. But let me know how you've been enjoying this video. If you have been, please roll that like button, subscribe. It goes a long way to just keep me going. Frankly, I haven't had much time to make as many videos as I would like in the past while, but it sort of comes and goes. And yeah, so making these short episodes definitely helps a lot more. And there's still so much to cover in this series. I am really showing this whole route and journey a lot of love because yeah, I think this whole sort of ride was my big one for the whole summer, and this route definitely is something that's sort of near and dear to my heart, being able to roll back to sort of my hometown. But anyway, we're now on this section. It's sort of confusing because like it led you onto the sidewalk, but there's also a painted bike lane that you see right there. But then like there's no direct sort of way to get back down, or the curb just sort of stays up, so I just decided to ride the sidewalk the whole way. But yeah, here's the Skagit River. It's quite nice. The sidewalk definitely had some debris on it, but that's quite all right. But after a little while, we make it across and we are here at exit 129. I know this pretty well because I am also often driving back to Vancouver, so in ways I actually know the route both in terms of cycling and the typical bus or driving ways. But yeah, this is a really big stop with a lot of different amenities, so I knew just from my own knowledge of where I could go, because if you were doing the Cascade ride you would have had a stop at Mount Vernon Elementary School. So with that, I decided to visit a place I haven't really gone to in a long time, probably since college. That's right, we come to the Golden Arches McDonald's. Gonna grab a quick meal as well as refill my water. Then that will be probably our last large break until we get into Bellingham. Alright, this is my classic childhood meal, 10-piece nugget meal. I'm not much of a Big Mac person, so alright, here we go. Oh, that's so good. I'm so ready. Ready for more. Let's eat. So that's all I have for this video. Join next time as I make it finally to Bellingham and finish my first day of 116 miles. And this is probably where the wheels really start to come off.